I have a boo-boo. I went to the gym and I was putting back a 50-pound weight onto the rack, and the weight weighed down my finger on the edge of the rack and my skin peeled off. The best part about it though is right after that I had to do an intense CrossFit workout. Love that for me. Fun fact, tomorrow marks my 7-year anniversary as a booktuber. I've been doing this for 7 years. Could you believe that? Wow. I was thinking about doing the booktube newbie 2.0 tag, but I don't really care for the questions in that, so I ended up finding the booktube oldie tag, which is created by Monica Kim. It's very possible that I've done this before, but you know, I have different perspectives and opinions now. How long have you been a part of the book community? As I said, tomorrow will mark 7 years being a booktuber, but if you count the time that I have actually spent watching booktube before I started making booktube videos, then that would be around 8 years. It was in July of 2014. I was 17 years old. At that point, I was never really much of a reader. I always hated reading because I associated it with school. And then at the tender age of 17, I discovered Nancy Drew, and I was like, wait, hold on. Y'all might have a point about this whole reading thing. I eventually got into some more mystery, and I started reading Agatha Christie and Sidney Sheldon, and I was like, okay, all right, this reading thing, we could make it a thing. And then it occurred to me that I could look up reviews of these books on YouTube. When I did that, that's how I discovered booktube, and from there the rest is history. What was your biggest misconception before starting booktube? I don't really think I had much misconceptions before. I figured booktube was pretty straightforward. You just make videos, talk about books, kind of simple. The main thing is I probably tried to act and talk a certain way in that first year or two of booktube, you know, sort of feeling like, you know, this is what people would want to see out of me versus what I genuinely want to give on the camera. But I feel like that's something that everybody kind of does when they start making videos, and you just get used to being yourself in front of the camera over a certain amount of time. How do you think booktube has changed since you first started? Oh my god, this community has changed so much. First of all, even when I first discovered it in 2014, it was already like 5 years into being a thing, right? So people were already having discussions about, oh my god, booktube is so different, there's so much more booktubers now. I remember when it used to be like 10 of us. When I first started, I would say that there were definitely a good few hundred booktubers, and now we're probably well into the thousands. So many people are making videos now, which is actually really great. The kinds of videos have changed definitely as well. Like booktube used to be a place for reviews. You see people like doing so-and-so book review. My first video is actually a review of Written in the Stars by Aisha Saeed. This is the book that got it all started for me 7 years ago. This was the video that I uploaded, a review of this book, which is very cringy and I hate watching it now. But that review holds a special place in my heart because it's really the video that started this whole thing. Now people don't do reviews anymore. Like, it's just not a thing anymore. They'll only do reviews if it's of like a really popular book, or if it's a weird book or a book that has a certain quality that they could kind of push in the algorithm. It's interesting. And again, I'm not mad at it. It's just something that I've observed. Vlogs are a new thing now. People never really used to do that when I started. Vlogs started off as part of the whole readathon thing. Like, you do a vlog for booktubeathon or a vlog for whatever-a-thon. Then it just started to like transmute into monthly reading vlogs and weekly and weekend and random reading vlogs. Or I read 7 books by 7 authors who have a stick up their ass, you know, like that's kind of like where we're heading in terms of content now, and it's fairly interesting, I think, to see how booktube is changing. What is your favorite booktube memory? I would say all of the booktubeathons. Like, I failed at them immensely, but I really enjoyed like making the TBR videos and the, you know, the vlogs and all the little challenges. I really miss booktubeathon and I wish they would bring it back, but I know that they had their little situation a couple of years ago and people don't really care for them anymore. I also remember that I made a video every day in Ramadan for, I think it was 2017. I did a challenge where I tried to make a video every day in Ramadan, and I pretty much did that, save for the last week when I did like a video every other day because I got a little bit frustrated with it. But I am surprised that I was able to do that because I could never do that now. A video every single freaking day? No, ma'am. What were some books that you were introduced to because of booktube? I guess I could say this, Written in the Stars by Aisha Saeed. So the thing about this book is I had saw Rincy Reads mention it, and when she said it was like about a Muslim family, I was like, oh, Muslims? They have those in books? And so when I went to the store, I found a copy of it, shockingly, and I was like, oh my god, this is the book that Rincy talked about that I really, really want to read. So I bought it and I took it home and I read it and I consumed it literally in like one sitting, which was the first time I ever did anything like that. And I absolutely fell in love with this story. I've reread it since and it doesn't quite hold up, but you know, at that particular point in time, it meant a lot to me. And so because of Rincy Reads, I read this book, and that was when I finally made the decision to make my first video. It was something that I had been considering for a while. I was like, I have nobody to talk to about it, so you know what, I'm just going to make a review. And the rest was history. What is something that frustrates you about BookTube? So I'm going to start this off with a little bit of a disclaimer, and I want people to understand that this is not me being petty or me being annoyed or hating on people. So one thing that I've learned recently is that you cannot control your emotions, but you can control how your emotions color your perspective and how they influence your behavior. It is totally natural to feel an emotion because emotions come to you like that. You just have to know that your emotion is sometimes separate from the reality of the situation, if that makes sense. So that being said, I feel very envious of a lot of you bitches on this platform. I've been here for 7 years, and sometimes I will see somebody with pretty bookshelves and a DSLR camera talking about freaking Colleen Hoover, upload a video, and then they'll get 50 million views. And I'm over here just like, I've been here for so long. I read books that I personally think are a lot better than that, but I also kind of have to look back at what I'm doing, right? And what other people are not doing. You know, I uploaded maybe like 10 videos for the year so far. That's not a lot. You need to be a little bit more consistent if you want more views. And also, there's nothing wrong with wanting more views and engagement. It doesn't make you greedy. Like, we literally do what we do for attention. Don't act like you don't like views. I think that it's about sort of separating that emotion that I feel when I see people do so good. That, you know, little envious demon that resides deep within my soul. It's about acknowledging that that demon lives there and she can do what she wants. She can live in her house and be as petty as she wants. I'm just not going to let her influence how I react to these people, right? I'm not going to allow that to make me hate these people or think that they're like, oh, these romance readers, these fantasy readers, they're reading all these shitty books, and I'm over here reading literature. No, and you do have to kind of acknowledge that there are still people who will like you and support you, and that's what really matters most. I will say that there are definitely like unfair inequalities and stuff, like to be able to afford to make certain types of videos or to access certain types of books to get the views that are required, or even to look a particular way. There's certain different things that just push people more than other people, and you just kind of have to deal with that. You can't pay too much attention to it and over question it. Just focus on yourself and make sure that you are making the type of content that gets to the right people. So yeah, I could talk about much other things that frustrate me about this community, but I really don't care to. The last question is, what is your hope for the future of BookTube? I just hope that BookTube continues to be a thing. Bookstagram is huge now, and so is BookTok, and I feel like a lot of people are flocking to those platforms, and I don't blame them because the YouTube algorithm is kind of annoying. We just talked about that. But at the same time, there's something about BookTube that to me is a lot more charming than those other two platforms. The long form video content is something that I love and appreciate. It's my favorite type of content to consume. I barely spend any time on TikTok. I love Instagram, but I don't care for it as much as I care for YouTube. YouTube is amazing. And BookTube especially is incredible. And I don't think, there was a point in time where I was scared that it was dying because of BookTok. But I don't think that's the case anymore. I do think that BookTube is just changing and growing, and maybe right now we're going through a bit of a metamorphosis. But it's fine. We will catch back up. Okay, hear that, BookTokers? But yeah, that brings me to the end of this video. I just want to say thank you to everybody who has been with me for the past 7 years and more. Whether you've been here from the beginning, whether you're a new subscriber, you've been somewhere in the middle, I appreciate you so much, and thank you for just making my life worthwhile over the past 7 years. In the comments down below, I'd love to know if you have any thoughts on this discussion. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you have a lovely, lovely day, and until next time, inshallah, keep reading.